Welcome to Rage Against the Regime Radio, where status quo gets taken to task. With your host, Bobby Who's Demand. Don't be a stranger. Give us a call at 929-477-3565 or contact us at rageagainsttheregimepodcast@gmail.com or on our Twitter at RATR Podcast. And please like our Facebook page. On with the show. Here's Bobby.
Welcome to Rage Against the Regime Radio, and I hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday. It's Monday, you weirdo. On this Monday afternoon. You know, all you guys are getting slammed with snow all over the place, and here I am in Chicago, one of the places that gets slammed the most. It's 40 degrees here. It was like 45 this afternoon. We've had very little snow this year, and places that hardly ever get snow are completely getting, an overhaul of it. It's like, what in the world is going on? This country is completely torn upside down on so many different levels. It's unbelievable. I just want to do a very, very short show today. And somebody asked me a question and brought it to my mind. And then I was asked the same question over and over by quite a few different people. And I said, you know what? I'm going to bring it to the air. I'm going to ask this question, and hopefully I'll get some answers from some people besides my own take on the question that I was asked. Okay? You ready? This is the question. Why didn't Ammon Bundy and the other patriots go to Washington and take a stand instead of going to Harney County, Oregon, at a wildlife refuge and go in there and take a stand instead of doing it in Washington, D.C.? I sat and thought about that question and thought about it over and over and over and over again, and I could only come up with one answer. And it's going to sound really, really bad on my part to say this, but money seems like it's the only answer. I mean, now, don't take this the wrong way, because I stand for the Patriots. I stand for Ammon Bundy. I mean, the guy he's a very, very intelligent person. He's doing things that nobody's ever done in this country before. Okay? And he's taking steps and he's doing it the correct way. But why not do this in Washington, D.C.? Take a stand there and say, we're here and we're not going anywhere until we get the answers and until we get the resolves that we're looking for. The resolution to the problem. Why would they not go to Washington, D.C. and do it there? Now, I get that they went there to stand with the Hammonds. But if you really think that this is just about the Hammonds, then you're as goofy as the day is long. I mean, this is about ranchers and, people getting their property taken by the BLM. Which, okay, it makes sense to do it in Harney County because that's where the Hammonds are from. Okay? And there's a lot of ranchers in this area. But now, when you really, really think about this, the only thing that it comes down to is money. I mean, is it really about the Constitution? I mean, because if you really think about it, it's about the land. It's about the Hammonds' land. It's about Harney County's land, which I guess the BLM took over a lot of people's ranches and created the I don't know, some people call it the resource center, some people call it the wildlife refuge. You know, a lot of people call it different things. It depends upon what side of the spectrum you're looking at it from. But, again, it all goes back to money and property. Now, I get that the BLM is as crooked can be. I get that they went in and took people's land and, you know, did whatever they wanted with it. They caused fires, burned people out of their houses, and, you know, have taken their property away from them. I mean, all bad stuff. No matter how you look at it, it's all bad. Again, we go back to the question, why didn't they go to Washington and take a stand in Washington and be heard? You've got congressmen there, you've got senators, you could have beat on doors and probably had more of a resolution than you have right at this point. You're dealing with the sheriff that really wants nothing to do with it, and, you know, he's in over his head, he admits that, but he's a sheriff that was not voted in. He was placed in office. Now, we're coming to find out that, you know, supposedly one of his family members was a BLM agent. Then one of his family members, and then one of the judge's family members was a BLM agent. I don't know which one of those stories is correct. Okay, I really don't. I just know that there's two different stories floating around, that each one of their family members were BLM agents. Then some people say that the sheriff used to be a BLM agent. I mean, most of the people that live in that area work for the government because there's really no other jobs there. And once their land got taken away and, you know, this and that, they started working for the government, you know, and taking care of ranches and taking care of property and, you know, this and that, doing what they know to do as ranchers, but at the same token, now they're working for the government. I'm being told that a lot of those people didn't even want the jobs that they got, but it was kind of, you know, hey, either you do this or you're pretty much going to starve. So of course you're going to do whatever it takes to take care of your family. And then working for the government, I mean, some people would think that's a good job. Other people would think, no way. So what do you guys think of this whole situation? I mean, do you think it's about money and about land? Or do you think it's really about the Constitution? Now, if you sit here and look at the people that are attached to it, Ammon Bundy, very wholesome, very good guy. Him and his brother, don't know so much about his brother. But the people that they have around them, there's been a lot of questions raised about their backgrounds, about them in general. You know, it really, you know, to me, backgrounds don't mean anything. I'm a convicted felon myself. I mean, so what? They're convicted felons. But now there's a big but here. You have a few people there that have been outed about stolen valor. And I'm not talking about Blaine Cooper. So any of you that are going to say, hey, Blaine Cooper said that he was never a Marine and this and that, I'm not talking about Blaine Cooper. Okay? Because when everybody started bringing up Blaine's name, oh, Blaine said this and Blaine said that. No, Blaine came out. Blaine was very open about it and said, hey, you know, long story short, I was never a Marine. I'm a convicted felon, blah, blah, blah. Blaine came out right away. Nobody outed him. He outed himself. Okay? I'm sorry. I might piss somebody off by saying that, but Blaine Cooper outed himself. Nobody had to out Blaine Cooper. So I'm not talking about him. Okay? Some people bring up Buddha's name. Some people bring up Ryan Payne's name. Some people bring up Mouse's name. Now, it's very easy nowadays to find out if that's true or not. I'm told by resources that Buddha was never a Marine, Mouse was never a Marine, and Ryan Payne, I forget what branch of the military that he was in. I guess he said that he was a Ranger or something, and I guess, different resources are saying that he was never a Ranger. Now, with the way that technology is nowadays, if those are true about those three guys, for them to say that they were and they haven't been and they're not, it's kind of a very, very big mistake. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I do know that there's information going around about all of them, and then different information coming out about each one of them. We've had resources come to us and say certain people are wanted in different areas for screwing people around, taking money, doing all types of stuff. Now, do I know all of that 100% for sure? I don't. I would love to be the one to cover all that and be the one to bring it forward and show all of you all of the information, but I don't have it. I don't have for 100% for sure, but we need to be very aware of what's going on. Okay? Look, I know this whole thing going on up in Oregon is, it's a month old already. Okay? And it seems to me that if anybody had any bad intentions, I guess whatever their intentions are would have been already outed, and, they would have already done whatever they're going to do. Okay? I don't know what any of them could gain off of trying to bring any kind of negativity to any of this or any of that. I mean, it's not like it's not like they're going to get paid by the government or whatever. Now, are they on the Bundy payroll? Well, I would say Buddha is for sure. Buddha's been with the whole Bundy family since, the whole thing went down at the Bundy Ranch. He hasn't left. He's been there. I mean, he's went to different places to go help people out. Look, I've had Buddha on the show before. I've talked to Buddha more than once. And Buddha seems like he's a really good dude to me. But, I've got all these people bringing these things forward to me and saying, hey, man, you might want to take a look at this. And you might want to cover some of this stuff and let people know. When you're dealing with media and you're dealing with people and stuff like that, and you get to know people because they've been on your show and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to be in the middle of any of that and, trying to out people and trying to, be the person to, to break news and everything all at the same time is really, really hard to do. It really is. Especially if you want to keep it at a respect factor. You want to be respected by everybody, but you also want to tell the truth and you want news to be known. Now, I know that there's a couple people that have been bringing out information about Pete Santilli, about supposed faxes that were sent into the FBI. I read the faxes. It does seem like something that Pete would definitely send in word for word. But, I got to be really honest. Pete's done a pretty damn good job covering all the stuff going on in Oregon. Kind of like he did, when he covered the Bundy Ranch thing. That's how Pete became Pete Santilli right now. Pete was nothing before the Bundy Ranch. Since the Bundy Ranch, he's exploded with listeners. All because of the Bundy Ranch. Pete was nobody before that. Pete was just some alternative news guy, kind of like us. I'm not saying that he's greater or worse or anything else. I'm just saying same thing as us. And Pete, he was just doing his thing, and that's how he gained viewers and listeners. Now, some people will say that Pete Santilli, when that whole 2 million bikers to Washington thing happened and people were giving donations and everything else, some people will say that Pete Santilli stole the money, and that's how he got better equipment. That's how he got a better studio. That's how he got the RV to travel around to Bundy Ranch. This and that. Is it true? I don't know. I really don't know. I know that there's also claims that he changed the name of the 2 million bikers to Washington to Guerrilla Media, and that's how they got 2 million listeners or whatever, 200,000 listeners or whatever the hell it is that he's got, on his page for likes. And supposedly he stole the name Guerrilla Media and, whatever. I don't know all about that. Okay, I know that he changed the name again, and I'm not really quite sure what the name of his media outsource, whatever is right now. So the point that I'm making here is Pete's involved in a lot of that, and he's got, I don't know, he outed some Fed or supposed Fed that people were calling him Cupcake and stuff that showed up at the resource center, and I guess Pete had pictures of the guy wearing sunglasses and, saying, this is you, and then Captain O, he was saying, oh, this is you, and this and that, and I don't know. Do I know if it was the guy or not? No, I don't know. Would I have said it was him? Not really. I don't know. I wasn't there. Didn't really see it. So not really 100% for sure. I just know that other media people and newscasters were saying that it was not him. They were saying, Pete, that's not the guy. You got the wrong guy. Blah, blah, blah. I was there. I was talking to the guy, whatever. I don't know. Okay? I just know that how Pete got into the position that he is right now, there's something stinks about that whole situation. Call it what you want to. I'm sorry if I'm offending somebody, but that whole thing stinks. It smells really, really, really bad. Pete doesn't work right now. He's not doing anything. How's he making money? I mean, how is he affording to stay in Oregon, stay in that hotel room with Deb, and how does he afford to do that? Some people say, oh, well, the viewers and listeners are all sending in donations and this and that, and that's how he keeps his signal going and whatever. And supposedly it's costing him $200 a day or something to keep a Wi-Fi connection and everything else. Some would ask, where's he getting the money? I mean, if he did take money and took donations and stole it from before, then the whole thing would make sense. Is he on the Bundy payroll? Is he getting money from the Bundys to be able to cover this? I mean, the Bundys are not hurting for money. The Bundys make a very good living, and I'm not talking crap about the Bundys at all. In fact, I'm not even really talking crap about Pete, but it's just things that make you go, So, folks, the real reason why I wanted to do this show was to ask that question, okay? The whole thing, I wanted to know, what did you guys think? And you have to ask that question. What do you guys think? Why didn't they go to Washington? Why wasn't this whole thing covered in Washington? Why didn't they go to Washington and go take a stand there instead of doing it in Harney County for, the Hammonds? I mean, I get it, but they could have represented the Hammonds while they were in Washington. I don't know. Send your replies. Leave comments, here on Spreaker if you want. You can even email us, rageagainsttheregimepodcast@gmail.com. And this is no knock to any of the Patriots up there. They're doing a great job. I kind of wish that I would have been there in a case like this. I mean, I think it would have been pretty fun. And I think it would have been something that a lot of people can say, you know what, man? We were there. We were there when it happened. So, alrighty, until next time, send us responses and let us know what you think.
You're listening to the Rage Against the Regime podcast. Don't be a stranger. Like Rage Against the Regime podcast on Facebook or tweet us at RATR Podcast.